Good morning. I trust you've enjoyed a great weekend and that you and your loved ones are safe on this Monday morning. The pandemic virus is once again in the news. Over the past couple of months, it has caused us to fear, to forfeit, and now to become frustrated. Finally, someone has said it's time to move on. It's time to take back our lives. We're beginning to hear some talk about reopening our state. I've noticed the anxiety as comments are exchanged when such things are discussed. So I want to ask you a question this morning. Why is it so important to rush back into a somewhat normal lifestyle and perhaps do it too early and you or someone you love become sick and possibly die? Would you risk the life of someone you love just to be able to get your hair done again? To get your nails repaired and polished? So that your beach trip could be restored, your vacation plans once again put in place? Are you willing to risk lives just so you can have a meal where you can sit in a restaurant or go to some ball game or enjoy a sporting event? Think about it. Are you really willing to risk that? It seems that the thought is to ignore everybody else and just do what I want to do. I want to remind you of a very familiar scripture in the Bible, and I'm speaking to Christians this morning, God's people. We ought not to have such attitudes. We ought not to think of just ourselves and not anybody else, because the Bible teaches us to beware of covetousness and greed and envy. In Luke chapter 12, verse 15 through 21, Jesus was instructing his disciples, and he said this to them in verse 15, "Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things that he possesseth." And then he spoke a parable unto them, saying, "The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I don't have room where to bestow all my goods, my fruits. And he said, This will I do, I will pull down my barns and build greater ones. And there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto that foolish man, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall all these things be, which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God." I can see the Lord turning towards his disciples and saying this closing statement. So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. God was warning his disciples and those who would hear this and read it later on. He was warning them in his word to beware and don't start talking about what you deserve or what you should be allowed to do or not do. And remember that God called this man a fool for his selfish thoughts and plans. Who would want these things to be? Who would want to have everything the world has to offer if you're going to die today? Let's not be foolish. Yes, we've come through fear and forfeit, and now we're frustrated. But let's not finally make a grave mistake by rushing back out into a normal lifestyle and costing maybe thousands more lives than what we would cost by continuing to practice good hygiene and social distancing in our stay-at-home plans. You know, it seems to me, and some years ago God gave me a thought and I wrote a little poem, and I want to share that with you in closing this morning. It seems to me that many times we get so wrapped up in our own lives that we forget about God. I entitled this poem when I wrote it, We've Left God Out. It takes us all the way, folks, from the cradle to the grave. I want you to listen as I share this. We get rattles and dolls and balls and trikes, skates and games and sleds and bikes. We age, we learn, we shop, we buy. We hurt, we grieve, and slowly die. We run, we laugh, we play, we dream. Work, plan, sweat, and scheme. Life is precious, there's no doubt. But you see, we've left God out. We have friends, fun, cars, dates, proms, parties, birthdays, mates, then houses, lands, job, trucks, boats, children, retirement bucks. Yes, we make and save and spend for show. We give, we take, we pay to know. Money in this world is clout. But don't you see, we've left God out. We teach, we train, we send to schools. Children there are taught no rules. Just live, love, play, and gain. Shoot, kill, and inflict pain. But with diplomas, degrees, and such, we march through life with oh so much. Pressing on the wayward route. Why don't we see we've left God out? We struggle towards the end in pain. It seems we lose more than we gain. Sickness, sorrow, toil, and such. Our living now is nothing much. Death, the grave, then the judgment bar. It seems so distant, oh so far, but it has come with little shout. And now we know we left God out. May God bless you today. We'll look forward to joining with you again tomorrow. And remember, God has said, beware of covetousness.